You can't make this stuff up. A volcano so big it killed all life on Earth, gigantic geysers hotter than the sun, and a magma chamber so massive it could drown the entire United States. Nope. These aren't details from the latest Hollywood blockbuster. They're just some of the claims made about Yellowstone National Park's namesake supervolcano. With its reputation as a ticking doomsday device, you'd think we'd have learned every last detail about the park's namesake volcano. But it turns out there are still plenty of things people don't know about America's most infamous volcanic complex. From the actual size of Yellowstone's magma chamber to why geologists aren't too concerned about its habit of blowing its top every few thousand years. Here are 10 Yellowstone myths busted. The truth about the supervolcano. Yellowstone National Park isn't just home to bison, black bears, and gushing geysers. It's also home to the Yellowstone Caldera, a giant volcanic crater formed by multiple prehistoric eruptions. At over 40 miles across, the Yellowstone Caldera is nearly as large as Rhode Island and is widely considered to be the largest volcanic crater on Earth. However, while we all know about the supervolcano, not everyone knows just how massive the surrounding area is. Most of Yellowstone National Park encompasses a region known as the Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem, an area roughly the size of New Hampshire and Vermont combined. While the ecosystem itself is shared between 3 states, Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, the vast majority of it is encompassed within the borders of Yellowstone National Park. So if you want to pay your respects at the altar of Mother Nature's biggest blow-dryer, you better bring a map because you'll need it. Sure, Yellowstone may be popular with tourists, but it's not exactly the kind of place you'd want to settle down in permanently, right? Wrong. Believe it or not, there are actually a few hardy souls who call the Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem home. These days, that is. As of the 2020 census, the population of the Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem was around 23,000, which makes it less densely populated than 38 U.S. states. While the closest major city, Bozeman, Montana, has a population of 54,000, there are also several small towns located near the park's perimeter, including West Yellowstone, Montana, which lies just 16 miles away. So if you're considering a move to the Greater Yellowstone area, just remember to pack your gas mask. Just kidding. Sort of. If you've ever watched a disaster movie featuring a supervolcano, you might be wondering, what would it actually be like if Yellowstone blew up? And while scientists agree that another mega eruption is inevitable, they don't necessarily agree on when it'll happen. According to a study published in the journal Quaternary Science Reviews in 2016, scientists estimate the next eruption will occur sometime between 70,000 and 90,000 years from now. That's probably good news for us humans, since according to the U.S. Geological Survey, Yellowstone is currently quiet. However, the USGS did issue a statement in 2018 informing the public that seismic activity under the Yellowstone supervolcano had increased. Locals even reported feeling a series of low-level earthquakes in the area. But according to experts from the United States Geological Survey, these tremors were far too weak to pose a threat to nearby residents. In fact, most of the time we don't even notice when small earthquakes hit the area, so rest easy. Unless you live here, then get ready to die. There's no denying it, Yellowstone is hot. Thanks to its active geothermal features such as geysers, hot springs, and fumaroles, the park is home to some of the hottest water on the planet. Sure, maybe not as hot as the surface of the sun, but pretty close. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, most of Yellowstone's hydrothermal features range between 100 degrees Fahrenheit and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to scald human skin in just a matter of seconds. But some of Yellowstone's most famous geysers reach temperatures as high as 270 degrees Fahrenheit. But there's one thing that's even hotter, people. Yellowstone's Mammoth Hot Springs are home to a pair of hot springs that boast some of the highest temperatures in the world, reaching as high as 330 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to cook a nice medium-rare steak in a single minute. However, those springs aren't quite as hot as the sun's surface, which reaches temperatures of around 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So before you start worrying about getting burned alive by Yellowstone's natural hot tub, take a deep breath and relax, or at least keep your distance. While Yellowstone's nickname might give it away, it's worth pointing out that the park's namesake volcano isn't technically a volcano at all. That's right, Yellowstone isn't a volcano, it's a caldera. According to how it works, a caldera is formed by a large amount of gas and steam being released into the atmosphere all at once, causing the ground above the magma chamber to collapse. Meanwhile, a volcanic crater is created when magma erupts onto the Earth's surface. Crater. What's the difference, you ask? Well, basically, craters are smaller than calderas, which are smaller than volcanoes. Got it? Good. Now, knowing that Yellowstone is a caldera and not a volcano, will you stop asking when it's going to erupt already? It's no secret that Yellowstone is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world. But have you ever wondered just how much lava it could produce during an eruption? Well, thanks to some handy math, we just might know the answer. According to a study conducted by Oregon State University, Yellowstone's magma chamber could theoretically produce somewhere around 2,500 cubic kilometers of ash, pumice, and lava during a super eruption. To put that number into perspective, that's roughly equivalent to the amount of material ejected from Mount St. Helens during its 1980 eruption. But that's just a drop in the bucket compared to the total volume of lava produced by Yellowstone over the course of its lifetime. Some estimates put the total amount of lava produced by Yellowstone at over 1,000 times greater than the entire volume of the Earth's lava lakes. And while it may be hard to imagine anything consuming that much pizza, scientists have estimated that if Yellowstone erupted tomorrow, it would consume an amount of material equal to the volume of the Grand Canyon. And speaking of things that are really big, how many times has Yellowstone erupted? Over the course of its lifetime, the supervolcano has erupted dozens of times. The first eruption occurred around 2.1 million years ago. Since then, the supervolcano has had 3 periods of intense eruptive activity, with the most recent occurring 640,000 years ago. However, there have been hundreds of small eruptions in between. These events led to the formation of Lava Creek, a lava field covering an area of over 200 square miles in northern Yellowstone. Today, Lava Creek is a popular hiking spot for adventure seekers looking to explore the otherworldly landscape. But it's important to remember that while these days the hikes are more scenic than deadly, the area is still very much a volcano, so keep your guard up, folks. There's no denying that Yellowstone is beautiful. From its snow-capped peaks to its gushing geysers, it's a sight to behold. But that doesn't mean the area hasn't seen its share of destruction. In fact, some of the damage caused by Yellowstone's eruptions is still visible today. Take, for example, the town of Gardner, Montana, which sits just 40 miles north of the park's entrance. According to a study published in the Journal of Geology, the town sits directly on top of the supervolcano's magma chamber. As a result, the town's buildings and infrastructure are at constant risk of collapse due to shifting tectonic plates. But that's just a small price to pay in the name of living so close to one of nature's most spectacular sights. Yellowstone National Park is home to some of the most magnificent wildlife in North America. From bison and black bears to wolves and elk, the park's diverse ecosystem supports a wide variety of animals. But have you ever wondered what would happen if one of these creatures got a little too close to the volcano? Well, thanks to some research conducted by the U.S. Geological Survey, we may have the answer. According to their findings, bison are the most likely culprits behind Yellowstone's mysterious sinkholes. These holes, which can form suddenly and without warning, are believed to be caused by bison stepping on thin spots in the park's geothermal crust. When this happens, the crust collapses, causing the ground to sink. And while this might seem like a rare occurrence, it's actually happened several times over the past decade. In 2016 alone, 4 bison-related sinkholes were identified in Yellowstone National Park. So if you're planning a trip to the park anytime soon, just remember to keep your distance from both the wildlife and the rumbling earth below. We've said it before and we'll say it again. Yellowstone is one of the most fascinating places on Earth. From its active geothermal features to its diverse wildlife and breathtaking scenery, It's a place where science and nature come together to create something truly special. So whether you're a geology geek or just someone who appreciates the great outdoors, we encourage you to visit Yellowstone National Park. Just be sure to pack your sense of adventure and a willingness to learn. After all, it's not every day you get the chance to experience something that's both humbling and terrifying in equal measure.